Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Akeem from Candles Cartel. Happy to show you the new blog that we have posted here about candle scents and sounds. Really, just to kind of keep it simple. It goes into a bit of detail with things like megahertz and what we're usually at, and what people kind of dip down to when they're getting sick and things like that. And it got really interesting because we started talking about different patterns that sounds can make, called cymatic patterns. And these cymatic patterns are usually displayed with salt on a metal board when you're turning up like a frequency machine to kind of make it vibrate to a certain frequency, and the surrounding shape that happens. And these are really displayed much better on like different YouTube videos. You can kind of see when they go over these things specifically. Right? But you're tuning in here so I can show you a bit here. And what you get is all these different types of patterns that actually emerge from that sound itself, if you can imagine it. And you don't have to really imagine it because it's visually right here. Now, with the frequency I'm talking about when it comes to candle scents or essential oils, we can kind of talk about like megahertz, etc. But really what it means is one frequency you can't really hear, and one you can kind of see and hear, being these ones, the cymatic ones I'm kind of showing you now. With the ones from the blog, with the blog here, what we end up discussing is electromagnetic frequencies and how those essentially associate with body function and healing different things. Like, if you didn't know, there's actually different types of healing frequencies for different parts of your body depending as to what it is. So these are, I guess, boiled down to a certain science, and this is provided from Apple Music. They're providing this information. That's how much has kind of been just declassified, if you will, and kind of spread out for everyone to kind of. Now, with us themselves, what got really interesting is that for the human body, we actually have our own frequency of a healthy body, which stands around 62 megahertz to 70 megahertz on a scale of. In the blog, we get to end up talking about that and how essentially there's not a hard concrete science behind exactly what makes a candle themselves give you that ability to have a better mental health and outlook. But what it is, more than anything, it does show that these frequencies or the frequencies within the candles themselves, they have evidently helped folks with their mentality over time. Now, that being said, there has been different types of talks about lavender for health and other types of scents that can also help you out. But this is just another article just discussing exactly what the scientific, or more specifically, what the numbers behind some of these scents are. Like for rose, the rose candle here, the rose oil is at 320 megahertz, and that could possibly help folks out with their mentality, especially when it dips down to the evening times when our immune systems are a bit slower to react. So it got really interesting because of the fact that there was the patterns with it as far as what it actually looks like. Us not being able to visually see those frequencies themselves is why this is here for you to kind of check out. This is an AI representation of what 118 megahertz frequency would sound or look like visually if you could display it, which we can't. But you can see the very intricate design. And one thing to note is the higher the frequency, the more complicated the design is. Like, one thing to note is that light itself has a frequency, and so there's different types of frequencies that make physical matter and how they interact with us. So if you get higher on the scale, what would it look like? And obviously we can't use salt to make this image, but this would be like what the AI kind of spit out for that. And then for 320 megahertz, this is the visual representation of what that looked like, which is pretty cool as well. Blog's got a lot of different types of facts in it, and standing like on its own, it definitely does represent a few different things you can check out. You might find it kind of interesting. We are super open to ideas that you may have for different blogs or different things we can kind of talk about. If you have a blog idea you want to discuss, you can type it up in the comments. We always check our comments out. We're pretty responsive as well that way. But this is kind of where our minds are right now for how we want to kind of display this part of what a candle can do for you without you even knowing. So it's pretty cool. It's all subtle. It's never anything you have to kind of focus on. And it could be a part of even the antiquetools narration from folks who kind of focus on like the 1800s and before all over YouTube. You may have heard of it. With the mudflood and everything, but this could easily be things that they would have used before as well, not just for heating, but also just for that sound frequency, maybe creating it for their own uses outside of that etherically. But I definitely want to share these things. It's really cool information here, and it's all on the blog if you want to check it out. Again, if you have any ideas, holler at me, and I'm out, man. It's Akeem from Candles Cartel once again. Thanks for checking out. Have a good one.